have one. Sort of. Okay, maybe it's made by gamer tech, but all you need to know is I got the time cop footage legit, right? Right?
Boo! Boo! Boo!
How do people keep getting in my house?
Boo! Get off the stage, pirate!
I'm not a pirate!
Get your footage legit!
Ah! It was Time Cop! Come on, nobody cares about Time Cop! You done? Oh, by all means, if you three want to continue acting like 2-year-olds, please do so. Wait, don't! I got a thing. Right. Tell y'all what. I'll make it up to you. I will never emulate a game ever again that I don't already own.
Do you promise?
I promise. And you know what? I'm gonna start by playing Kirby Squeak Squad.
And you'll use a capture card?
No, I said it was gonna emulate the game that I don't already own. That doesn't require doing a capture card. No!
Kirby. Who doesn't know Kirby? He's that lovable pink puffball that carries the namesake of an all-American vacuum titan. This adorable little cash cow has climbed his way up to the top of Nintendo's heavyweight product lines and has done a perfect 10 dive into our hearts, taking the gold for Japan. He's a household name for any household with video games.
We now know Kirby as a staple of Nintendo. Maybe a little bit more so than we realize. In fact, I would beg to argue that without Kirby, we wouldn't see the same Nintendo we see today.
The year was 1992. As America had well recovered from the recession in the 1980s, Japan was in one of the biggest recessions in the island nation's history. Unemployment was at an all-time high, and it hadn't seen such since the end of World War II. Yeah, the one that ended with 2 nuclear bombs. A little company called HAL Industries, which would eventually become HAL Laboratories, was commissioned by Nintendo to make a new first-party IP to promote the Game Boy. They created an idea for a game in which you play it as a puffball with incredible inhaling powers. Surely the game would be a huge success. Well, the punchline is that Kirby's Dream Land sold poorly and almost put HAL out of business. But fortunately, with a few tweaks in mechanics and revolutionary use of hardware for the NES, Kirby's Adventure was a huge success that skyrocketed the careers of Masahiro Sakurai and Satoru Iwata. If these two hadn't had success, we might not see the light of Super Smash Bros., which rakes in a ton of cash for Nintendo today.
Yeah, that's right, Melee babies. Badmouth Sakurai one more time. You know he's the reason why you never leave your mother's basements. Stick that in your pipe and wave. Dash it. Yeah, this joke doesn't work. Today we'll be reviewing the 15th installment in the Kirby franchise, Kirby Squeak Squad. And normally I don't tell you guys what I think of the game up front, but I'll make an exception for this. I think that not only this is my favorite Kirby game, but the greatest Kirby game in the entire franchise. What? Don't look at me like that! Yes, I think this game is better than Superstar and Superstar Ultra, which are regarded as objectively the best games in the series. But I'll touch on that later. What? You're still looking at me like that! Stop that! You keep looking at me like that. I don't enjoy it. This makes me feel uncomfortable. Oh god, help. Oh, what? You think just because I hated Time Cop that I'm gonna hate Squeak Squad too? I'm not gonna hate every game I review on this show. That'd be stupid. That's like making fun of the kid in your class that has syphilis and accidentally gave his dog gangrene. Because it's easy. Low-hanging fruit, my friend. Low-hanging fruit.
so happy to be playing this. Kirby games always make me so happy. And how could you not be? Kirby just has an innate ability to make you forget about the lack of self-confidence that eats away inside you and makes you a hollow husk of pure self-loathing. I mean, with a face like that, how could it not? So I guess you probably want to know what's going on here. So, the plot starts with Kirby eating cake in a field.
Great adventure!
Actually, the cake was stolen by someone mysterious. Kirby assumes it's King Dedede because, let's be honest, he's the nearest evil entity within 10-mile radius. Except for Sir Kibble. I've got my eye on you, buddy. Kirby goes to find him, only to find out it was a ruthless gang of mice known as the Squeak Squad that stole it. They show up and steal the chest that Kirby believes has his cake in it. It's up to Kirby to defeat the Squeaks and get his strawberry shortcake back.
Yeah, if you've been in the gaming community for a little while, you've probably heard the phrase, Kirby is for babies, thrown around.
And to some extent, it's kinda true. Kirby is probably the most non-threatening AAA video game character ever made. Kirby games have always had rather simple, cute plots aimed for small children. And unfortunately, in my opinion, the gameplay has kind of reflected that in a lot of Kirby games, especially later Kirby games.
I know, I keep teasing you on why I think Squeak Squad is slightly better than Superstar Ultra, but hang tight. Gotta explain why this game is fantastic in order to prove my point later.
These games' controls are amazing. This is honestly some of the best platforming I've ever felt in my life. Kirby is super responsive to use and feels just the right weight while flying. Of course, for basic combat, you have inhaling, spitting air, and sliding. But as a staple of any Kirby game, you have a bunch of powers that you can get from enemies as well. Some old favorites come back, like fire, ice, sword, cut, tornado, and others. But you also get a few new powers. Animal, which allows you to dig through certain terrain as well as have fluid combat. Metal, which allows you to be indestructible at the cost of your speed. And Bubble, which turns your enemies into, bubbles? Ah, yes. Bubbles. But what did they do? Why, they're inventory items, of course. Yeah, if we pull out here a little bit, you can see that the second screen is an inventory system.
Now, this may not seem like much, but trust me, a lot of early DS games tried to shoehorn in the touchscreen because, well, it's a touchscreen. It was innovative. They had to use it. So, a lot of early DS games had a lot of unnecessary mechanics involving the touchscreen. I'm looking at you, Bionicle Heroes! Who would use a touchscreen to jump? Who would even make a first-person shooter for the DS? Get out of here! No one loves you!
This, however, is an excellent use of the bottom screen that isn't too distracting. The inventory system allows you to hold up to 5 items at a time. This comes in handy a lot when you need to use an item or get a power at the last second. These items could be copy abilities, healing items, extra stars to spit out at opponents, or mini Kirbys that when combined together give you a 1-up. Yeah, that's right, combine. You can mix and match items of the same type to get better items or different powers. With powers, you can hold and spin the two combined to get different levels of combinations. The highest level of combo is just a random power.
So, got your mechanics, got your new inventory system, you just run through this game like any old Kirby game, right? Right? No. Who do you think I am? This game is not your traditional Kirby game, because it centers itself around something that Amazing Mirror fell short on. And that is the wonderful world of collectibles.
I got a part of a ghost medallion.
I got an ability scroll.
I got a new color for Kirby! What did you get, Chris?
Concept art. Oh, dude. I am so sorry.
Yes, collectibles are the one thing in this game that keeps this game from being a breeze. A spring breeze. And that's because these collectibles actually matter. This game vastly improves on the collectibles aspect you see in quite a few Kirby games. You see some returning items like the CD player, sheet music, spray paints for Kirby, and concept art pieces. And I'm just now realizing that I'm literally spraying Kirby in the face with spray paint just to make him the color I want.
Alright, Kirby, hold still! Light me once a green!
But there are some new collectibles that they added, like the Ghost Medallion, for instance. If you find all the Ghost Medallion pieces, a random mini-boss per each level is replaced with a ghost, which gives you the power of Ghost. Ooh, spooky! You also get these pieces of a map, which when you collect them all give you access to a room with every power in the game inside. There's also the ability scrolls, which are by far the best collectible in the game. These scrolls give Kirby an additional effect to each corresponding power. For instance, Fire Scroll basically adds the burning ability, or flame tackle ability in Kirby's Amazing Mirror, to the dash attack. It's a nice touch that really keeps combat fresh. My favorite scroll is definitely the Sword Scroll. It literally gives the game 3 more copy abilities by adding elemental swords. You can get these by combining sword with either fire, ice, or spark. And using the spark sword on this level is really fun. Look at it, sparks go everywhere. Look at that. Everyone is dead.
This little aspect of the game right here makes you not want to rush through the game, solve the mile puzzles to get those treasures. You know, unlike some other game types. I'll get into that later.
Yeah, some of these chests are not easy to get. Like in this level in Cushy Cloud, there's only one chest in this level, but you have to have fire with the Fire Scroll in order to get it, and it is super hard to get. So what's the incentive to get all these 120 chests? Well, first off, there's 5 special glowing chests. They contain items called Star Seals. After the 5th level, if you don't have all 5 Star Seals, you cannot complete the game. In addition to that, collecting all 120 chests gives you a boss rush minigame and what is called Extra Mode. Extra Mode is a 0 life time attack mode to race to 100% the game. It's a nice touch that adds a small bit of replayability to go back and try to get all the chests.
So, as far as Superstar is concerned, I've been beating around the bush a little bit on this one.
So let's beat around the bush some more, huh?
I have to bring this up before we get to the controversial part of the episode. And this is the prettiest Kirby game I've ever seen.
Oh man, look at this game. Look at this game. This game looks amazing for the DS. These backgrounds just, ugh. Oh, they're so good! Most Kirby games have really cartoony backgrounds, which is fine, it's supposed to be like a cartoony styled game. But these amazing looking backgrounds have a nice contrast from the foreground. But even the foreground isn't super cartoony, but the style of Kirby and the NPCs are very cartoony, which adds some nice contrast with the walls and ground without having to mess with the color palette too much. Some people may say this is a jarring art choice, but I really don't see it as a negative. Some things in the background are also really cool, like in Secret Sea when you can see the halberd crash into the ocean in the background. And ultimately, as you go through the level, you get closer and closer to the crashed halberd until eventually you get to go inside it. How cool is that? Also in Secret Sea, you can see the large monoliths from Cushy Cloud, which in Cushy Cloud, the second level is like an ocean level that you went into before and you had to climb the monoliths and it's all connected, like a circle! It's so good! Theming!
Also, the music in this game is wonderful. This is some of the best renditions of Kirby classics you'll ever hear. Like stuff like Cabbage Caverns, Green Greens, the original Cushy Cloud from Kirby's Dream Land, and stuff like that is really well done in this game. And that is because the DS had a new sound card built into it, so it can play more than 16-bit MIDI. So this was the first Kirby game to have a full orchestra on the soundtrack. That, coupled with the more complicated visuals, coupled with the more complicated and thought through gameplay, this game feels more mature. Yeah, you know, mature is the perfect word to describe Squeak Squad. It is the most mature Kirby game that there is. And I think the best way to describe it is to take you to my favorite level. And that is Level 5, Stage 2, on Ice Island.
This stage sums up the maturity factor of this game perfectly. You would never find a level like this anywhere in, say, Return to Dreamland, or Nightmare in Dreamland, or Dreamland. Most of the music in this game falls into 3 camps. It's either happy and fun, dark and mysterious, or triumphant and uplifting. And the gameplay for the corresponding levels reflected that. In other words, every level in this game is very high energy, or very tense. This level, however, takes it down a notch, with everything. On Ice Island, you ultimately end up invading the Squeak's fortress, taking out all the Squeaks, and then taking out the Squeak's boss. This is the level all before that happens, and it takes everything down a notch before crap hits the fan. There are less enemies, the puzzles are easier, the level moves slower, you're in a peaceful, snowy forest, and the music, yeah. You know what? Just relax for a second.
Okay, I've been avoiding this long enough. I need to get to it. I've been teasing you throughout the whole episode. I think that Kirby Squeak Squad is slightly better than Kirby Superstar. And no, let's make this perfectly clear. Kirby Superstar is a fantastic game. It's a really good game and a really good Kirby game. Almost as good as Squeak Squad. I'm just saying that I have 1 or 2 problems with it that make it fall short. And for the record, I'm going to be comparing Squeak Squad to Superstar Ultra. And the reason is it's basically the same game, but with more in it. So objectively, Ultra is better than OG Superstar. Oh man, I've dug myself into a hole with this one.
First off, Superstar is easy. A bit too easy. Because you don't lose your power in 1 hit, you can breeze through this game. Breeze through this game. I already made that joke. And it doesn't get challenging until you get to chapters that are literally just clones of other chapters that are made to be more difficult. And I know this comparison is gonna come up, and I know this is one of people's favorite chapters in Kirby Superstar, but I'm gonna say it. Squeak Squad is a better Great Cave Offensive. In Squeak Squad, you are rewarded with collectibles that allow you to customize visual items and change the gameplay a little bit. And what do treasure chests give you in Great Cave Offensive? Treasure. And what does that do? Nothing. It literally does nothing! Come on, you need a better incentive to 100% the chapter besides show off your score to your friends. This ain't 1995 anymore, Nintendo. And even in 1995, the concept of a high score in a video game and a home console was being completely phased out for a more adventure-type game. So literally, this was pointless. And this is a reflection I see in every chapter in Superstar. There's an objective, they tell you to go get that objective, but there's no real incentive for that objective besides to 100% the game. So my point is, yeah, you know, I'm making one of those. I think Squeak Squad uses its content slightly better than Superstar does, even though Superstar has more content.
now that I've metaphorically shot myself in the face, let's wrap this up.
At the end of level 5, you defeat the Squeaks for good, and Kirby is about to open the chest in which he thinks his strawberry shortcake resides. But then, Meta Knight comes out of nowhere and swipes the chest from you. You find him in the sunken halberd and fight him. But after you defeat him, the Squeaks sneak up behind you and open the chest for themselves. And their leader is consumed by an entity known as Dark Nebula, which I guess is the physical embodiment of, space evil. Yeah, space evil. Where's Event Horizon when you need it? Lawrence Fishburne to play Kirby in the Kirby movie. Kirby defeats the Squeaks again, kills Dark Nebula, and flies back to Popstar. And in the end, the Squeaks feel so bad for nearly speeding up the inevitable heat death of the universe a few million years, that they give him a replacement cake. And Kirby, quote, doesn't care. Which I'm now realizing that Kirby's kind of a jerk. When his unhealthy foodstuffs is stolen, he immediately assumes it's King Dedede, so he beats the crap out of him, even though he's innocent. And then, he goes on to beat the crap out of his army and associates. And then, when Meta Knight tries to warn him that he's about to, destroy the universe, he suddenly tracks him down in his sunken airship and beats the crap out of him too. Not once thinking, oh hey, everyone's trying to keep this chest away from me, maybe it's not my strawberry shortcake, maybe I shouldn't be involved in this and this is something way bigger than I actually thought. Is Kirby a monster? Is his gluttony for hunger finally getting the best of him? Is Kirby evil? That's a job for game theory to figure out. Get on him, Hat Pat.
So, in the end, I think the reason why I love Squeak Squad so much is it is, again, the most mature Kirby game.
Kirby Squeak Squad is one of the more serious games in the Kirby franchise, which is really ironic considering the title. Everything about this game makes you think a little more and treat the old mechanics a little differently. It challenges you a little bit more than your average Kirby game, and rewards you with more than just beat the game with 100%! And still, I stick to the claim that Squeak Squad is still slightly better than Superstar Ultra. So next time you think, Kirby is for babies, or Kirby can't take itself seriously as a franchise, remember this game. And also remember it in contrast to most of the other Kirby games and realize that you're still mostly right.
So, in conclusion, I give Kirby Squeak Squad a go buy it. Or at least try to play it once. Out of 10. Yeah, that works. Alright, I finally reviewed a game that I finally own. Now will you guys get off my back?
You hate Superstar?
Damn it, that was the one point I was trying to make! I don't hate Superstar!
You hate Superstar!
Oh yeah, also Kirby the Planet Rubber Bot was released when I started editing this to the time of this release date. And it's pretty good. Good job, Nintendo. You can take it seriously now.
Hey y'all! Thanks a ton for watching. I had a lot of fun making this one. Special thanks to my friends Will, Chris, and Lucas for helping me out with this one. So, as for promotions this time, I know I promoted them last time, but I'm gonna promote the D-pad again, because this time it's relevant. So, if you're not familiar with the D-pad, they play entire franchises at a time, and currently they're working on the Dreamy Let's Play, which they're playing through all of the Kirby games. So I thought, that is pretty relevant, so go check them out. They are a ton of fun to be around. Those guys are awesome. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Tune in next time.